Things keep going. Oh no. San Francisco. Oh no. Solbor. We hardly knew ye. Solbor, think I love you. But how can I know for sure? And March, you're still okay. Oh, and the Defiant. That happened, but I nearly forgot. It's time for the rules of acquisition.
Alright. Hello, and welcome to the Rules of Acquisition, a podcast where we're going through every single episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's a pretty good show. I've been saying that for a long time. Alright, anyways, my name is Wade Bowen, and with me, as always, is James Nolan.
Hey, guys.
And also, over there we have Hugh Crawford.
Hey.
Hey. And, yeah, we are into, this is episode 4 of the final countdown?
Yes.
Yes. And this is the Changing Face of Evil.
Yep, Changing Face of Evil is episode 20 of season 7. It originally aired April 28th, 1999. Here is the description. After the brain attack Earth, mixed emotions abound on Deep Space Nine. Kai Wynn reveals her true feelings regarding the prophets to her spiritual guide. A Bajoran farmer named Angel, who is surgically altered Dukat, and turns her back on them, and convinced by him to embrace a pod race. On the homeworld of Cardassia, Legate Damar mounts a resistance movement to the Dominion.
Yeah. And Worf and Ezri are over their shit finally, and now it's just awkward. Are you going to tell him you love him for Julie and stuff? And yeah.
Yeah, they're back on the ship, right? They're back on the station.
Yeah.
And our friends Miles and Julian have built toys. Talking about like Arrested Development and juvenile like culture here. They have
watch it. Says the guy with a bunch of doll furniture for D&D.
Well, I'm just saying they frame it in a way where it's not like the show doesn't have like come down on one side or the other. Like these guys talk about how like hard and serious their jobs are, and this is the way that they blow off steam. Right. So they're adult men with adult responsibilities. However, they do like them tabletop games.
Can we talk about how weird it is that I'm like the whole episode is about does she love Julian or not? And literally Julian and her, I don't think speak once. I mean, they had that awkward, I'm glad you're back.
Right, yeah.
Neither did I. Don't
But,
listen to him. He was Mr. Doom and Gloom the entire time.
Like, they're not I don't know. Like, there's no, like, Jim and Pam. They're not Jim and Pamming or anything like that. And
there's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. We had to introduce... We could have had that, but we had to introduce a 60s lounge singer into this series.
And so, when you're watching it, they're just talking, and it's like the whole time I was like, does Julian even know? Is this cool?
He doesn't.
Is this... No, I mean, like, does he, like... Does he know it's an like? Is he reciprocating? Is he like? Nope. I don't like. It's
he doesn't have. Yeah,
it's the worst deployed.
I mean,
romance.
From what the status is that he doesn't know, but he might have feelings, but she just can't get the. She's still working up the guts to touch
them
him.
Together. Show them together. That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
you just got to show them together.
Otherwise, the audience doesn't care.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know if I'd care anyways, but you're right.
I don't know.
Wouldn't you care more if you watched them for 4 or 5 episodes? Have a conversation at least?
I mean...
Over the last week, I've watched 4 seasons of this show called Superstore, and I love it. It's amazing. But the Ginsburg from Mad Men and Ugly Betty have a flirt throughout multiple seasons, and it's really like compelling because I watch it between them. It's not just them talking to other people about it.
There's no Sam and Diane between Ezri and Julian,
or even like an attempt of it.
No,
like at least with the Dukat and Kai Wynn, there were like several seduction scenes in episode 2. Like That's more than we've seen with the two people we're supposed to like. I was like, is this an Indian love, like an Indian love story? Is this a Bollywood love story where or is this supposed to be like a Prairie Mennonites kind of?
I think we're supposed to remember season 1 where he was horning after Dax, and that's supposed to be enough for us to be on board with him falling in love with a totally different Dax who. This time, this Dax loves him.
He's talked more about the Alamo than he's talked about Dax, though. That's the thing. It's
Literally.
Even when he's not...
it's not great.
Yeah. It's
not
great. But he wants to fuck William Travis.
Right.
He is William Travis.
Well, that goes back into the narcissism.
Yeah, that's why Mira Kira used to want to fuck herself. But
But the peppers burning scene, that's a real relationship. I'll give him that. I like the pepper burning scene.
Nobody touches my peppers. So sorry.
Sisko's relationship isn't quite as much about like who's gonna win this battle, but kind of it is, I guess. I don't know.
I thought that would have been I was actually confused when we were talking about that because I was like, the Martok lead-in would have been better for this episode,
right?
Tete-a-tete between the Siskos.
Yeah.
Or did she take his last name, or is she Yates?
She did. No, because there's a scene, I guess it's probably in this one, or maybe it was in last one, where he's like, well, hello, Mrs. Sisko, and she's like, hello, Mr. Sisko. So I guess
she's Kasidy Sisko.
Yeah, the implication is that, Keiko took O'Brien, so, this show, like I said, it's still stuck in the Protestant 90s.
It's a pretty orthodox fucking, they got a pretty orthodox view of the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, back then, it was almost taken for granted in ways that it's not today, right?
I don't know. I didn't feel like America was that like.
I mean, it wouldn't have been weird if she had kept her name, but it would back then. It didn't go as noticed that she took his name as it would
in
say
Star Trek. They keep each other's names. It's just weird. I mean, fuck it. My wife did too. I think his wife did too. I don't know. I mean, I didn't ask her to, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's pretty common. It's even without, even not in religious circles.
I'm the only one in this group with a spouse that's not going to take my name, I believe.
There you go.
Yeah, so... I don't need to talk about my family. This is not the podcast where I'm going to talk about my relationship with my parents, except that I have for like 3 years now, every now and then.
Your relationships with your parents is a running theme on the podcast.
Right? Yeah. I have a good relationship with my parents. Okay, no, whatever. This episode, though, it's hard to remember like how to talk about this one different than what we talked about last week. They're back on the station. We get Alamo stuff.
This is the one with all the research.
Yes.
Yeah,
where they didn't want to cut to one of those like research montages, but
Solbor's having to run up and down flights of stairs with stacks of books.
When you're working tough and you're gonna get evil, releasing the pares through the caves of fire.
Right. So that's the one kind of I said last week about sprinkling just the laziest amount of information to make remember the pares are bad guys. Because she says, but if we release them from the fire caves, it's the destruction of Bajor. So, okay, not just do they go to the temple, they just like go scorched earth with Bajor from the fire caves. Okay. And he's like, no, well, it'll be like a great awakening, like QAnon or something. No, sorry. There
we go. It is.
Yeah. And where the people that survive will be the ones that are worthy in the eyes of the pares, and they'll probably kill a lot of people, but those are the unworthy people, so it's fine. So I was like, oh, well, okay, well, that's clearly evil now. So, yes, the pares are evil. I get it. It's a little much. And they even, they're like, Solbor, go grab the Necromonomicon or the Kost Amojen, which didn't...
It's really cool. What's the name of it again?
Kost Amojen was that guy that went all Kamehameha and that died, right?
No, he was like the head of the order. I don't remember. Did he die? No, they didn't kill him. Remember that was the point.
Why did they have it
because Kai Wynn didn't have the guts, so she flooded the promenade and they ran away.
Right. Okay.
But that's what they wanted to do. Sisko wanted them to fight it out and kill Kost Amojen, even though that meant that his son would die.
Okay.
And that was that Sisko's faith in the prophets was greater than Kai Wynn's.
Okay.
And so, yes, Kost Amojen was that, and I believe when he's in the fuck room.
The fuck cult.
The fuck cult, yeah. Like, I think he talks about Kost Amojen in the fuck cult episode.
Okay. And it's also the book, and it's not clear that Kost Amojen is also just a number of parts. Right. I don't know. It's like this. Is it God, the Father, and the Son, or are they all one, or it's different? I don't know. Religion, man.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like I don't know, and I don't care, but the show wants me to care, so I feel it makes me feel anxious.
Right. But yeah,
so I'm having trouble following.
So yeah, and then the other big reveal is that she's turned to the power race, but she hasn't learned that Engine is Dukat yet, and and by the end of the episode, she does. And
I like how he does his best Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump act when he first takes on the role of Angel, and then it takes him about 2 seconds to slip back into his Gul Dukat like temperament and mannerisms.
Yeah.
Alemo, I mean, I guess he's a creep and as a troublemaker on set. I guess we have to deal with that now, but. I mean, he's pretty good.
He's pretty. he's pretty. I mean, he does good in the role. Yeah, and
he's got no chemistry with Louise Fletcher at all. And I think this was the episode where he probably just said, "Well, then I'm going to railroad her, and that's what I should do," instead of trying to match her. He just kind of railroads her, and then there is kind of this dumb farce. That whole storyline between her and that and the Sobol.
Sobol's one of my favorite characters. It's too late. He only lasts for 4 episodes because Sobol's great.
He's just great.
What do we know about
Solbor?
Not only, it was like,
Solbor.
why are you checking out evil books? Hey, everybody down at the library. Everybody down at the library is talking about these evil books.
Where did it come from? What does he want?
Jackie O'Reilly looking motherfucker.
This is his idea.
Why are you doing this?
To study this hateful book.
So much.
Yep.
And so I'm watching this and I'm like, it's a very strange...
He's like, bring out the cantaloupe out on the deck. I want to get breakfast out here.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take... Yeah, the guy will eat on the... And she's just like, do what he says.
Do what he says.
Yeah, just do it, all right.
Well, she's got 8 books on her desk and she's looking for a pencil that's behind her ear or something. But that I chose to spend so much time on this storyline at this point. It's quizzical, but like I'm kind of, now that it wasn't so dirty, it's like sex dirty as last week, this is more fun because it's just...
It's just the bad guys in a room together trying to get
hit
the books.
Right.
It's like watching 2 dumb people,
but one of them's studying for the evil LSATs or something like that.
Is this what I've never watched it. Is this what the Trailer Boys are like?
Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah, the Trailer Park Boys or something. It's just 2 dumb people trying to run scams way above their head.
Yeah, less books, but
less books.
You never know. Maybe an adventure got them where they had to go to the library.
No, I've watched a lot of Trailer Park Boys for some reason. Very few books.
And it just shifted to animation this season. Netflix
I don't know.
said, you should make this a cartoon. Yeah.
It's like 2 things Canadians love: Rush and Trailer Park Boys. I don't know.
Trailer Park Boys. But they seem kind of dumb, and they seem kind of like, I don't know, the book is empty. Well, look at it better.
Look at it more. Yeah.
And it almost is like I mean, not really, but not in quality, but in farcicalness, like E.B. Farnham scenes in Deadwood. where him and the Richardson are trying to run scams, and it seems like that to me. I don't know.
that makes it a lot more fun than I had with this episode.
Yeah, I was.
I was like, oh, it's a Necronomicon, like down there, like, but yeah.
Kost Amojen. Yeah, it is kind of.
Yeah.
Do you have to drip blood on it or?
Yeah. And then they'll glue pages on it. Like when they show it back, it's like clearly they just glued a page on top of another page for that shot, but whatever.
So now now they're not like, so now they're like magic.
Yeah.
Like we're now in the realm of like magic. Because I feel like the prophets had a certain prescribed amount of powers that, like, you kind of like, okay, they're an alien race that's like this.
Yeah.
But now they're doing like wizard shit.
Well, I mean,
like you drip the blood of the slain on the empty books, and then it turns into the pages. Like it seems
not like
that
Star Trek has been afraid of doing weird shit like that. Really.
But this is particularly like not like an alien that has this unique power. But like,
their powers are always kind of vague, right? They stop the whole, except they just don't interfere.
But this seems like we've encoded this book in a way where if you only drip the blood of a murder, you have to murder someone and then drip the blood of the slain onto the page. Like,
but they use like a pentagram in the animated series to summon Satan and the devil. I mean, but that's original series stuff, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, they do meet the devil and the planet and TNG.
It's a little. I think this is fun when it's at its stupidest, but when they start getting into like the power, if I'm supposed to be scared of the power race, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
They've lost me on this story. So.
Oh yeah. This is probably the weakest story of the ending.
Mm-hmm. But we're still with Kasidy Yates and Sisko.
Yeah.
This is where Sisko steps on like her work schedule. Gets her like a free vacation because he's.
And I like that. What
basically.
the fuck? Why are you? I like that. I like for some reason with sometimes they write characters well.
Yeah.
And that he doesn't fucking forget. Like the Peppers thing was like he didn't immediately like, oh honey. He was like, no, what you fuck my shit for? Like
right. I mean he's brought up before, like when he's building his house, he's like, I need a small kitchen because I don't want people getting their fingers in my pots. Not a euphemism. Mm-hmm. And then last episode, she comes in and he's cooking for her, and she like reaches to touch his pot, and he's like, no, get your hands away. And then in this one, she comes in and it's all burning. He's like, what the fuck?
What you doing? You don't cook.
I know.
It felt a little bit like they were like a little proud of themselves. They're like, seeing how we flip these gender roles? Like, come on, it's not that crazy, but we're like, oh, you get to wear the apron in this house. And I was like, it's fine. Men cook, it's a thing. But I mean,
it sounds like they turned into Mennonites or something.
Yeah.
But no, they like I was saying, like Sisko's becoming more and more unrelatable as he becomes more and more like a blissed out like cult leader. Mm-hmm. And this is one time where I was kind of like, oh yeah, I get this.
Yeah.
This is like real. This is people.
It does keep him grounded a little bit and relatable.
Yeah, and so
I actually thought that you ruined my peppers scene was one of his better, like more naturalistic acting scenes in the whole series. Like the choices he was making.
Yeah.
And we complained a few weeks ago about how like they took her kind of character away, and her like she's just like, oh, I'm so happy to be married now. Mm-hmm. And in this one, where she's like, what the fuck? You took me off no, you don't fuck with my job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. This is a return to her being a three-dimensional person with who has wants and needs and dreams and foibles.
Right.
And I guess I buy it on Sisko. I mean, I buy it that Sisko would be that way. He's lost one wife in a war. I mean, I can. It's all more grounding than the sort of more or less relatable. The more the prophet, the Sisko is taking over the show.
Right.
The emissary.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess the reason why he doesn't want to know sorrow. Like that's the whole thing underneath it, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Is that he's trying to prevent disaster.
Did they? Is that my fault for not making a connection, or should they have made it stronger? That he's worried about the prophecy.
I
thought it was because he was worried about the prophecy.
No, I think you're right. I
think they should have made it stronger.
Is that my fault or their fault that I didn't?
Well, see, I don't know if it's one of those deals where like we're going to trust the audience to make that connection, but they don't do a whole lot of audience trust falls. So I don't,
because I forgot all about that part of it. So I
thought that's
feel
what
like
they were going
too,
for.
But yeah, maybe, hopefully,
maybe I'm reading too. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. That's I'm not one to do that.
That has to be it.
That might be the first time I ever gave them too much credit while watching it.
But he's definitely, I feel like Avery Brooks has that in his mind.
Oh, yeah, probably.
So.
Yeah, their storyline is starting to run together. Like, part of their combat, her getting mad was last week, I think, because that's their combat where he's like, no, I don't.
No, he was like, why don't you do this, bless these people with me? And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And then that was what I was going to say. They cut a scene where she goes ahead and does it.
Right.
It's like where so it's her buying into the religious bullshit.
Right.
But they cut that scene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that storyline just kind of dangled as a scene that was there almost to remind you that they're still married.
Right. But there is also another scene between them that may have been last week where he's like, it was this week where it's too dangerous for you to go out.
Yeah. And ironically, he gets called to go out and attack the Breen in the middle of him saying that. So
okay. Real quick, nerd corner, since you brought up the attack of being called out to attack the Brain. Mm-hmm. Colonel Kira is on that ship attacking the Brain. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How is it that a member of the military of a government that has a non-aggression pact with the Dominion can be on the bridge of a Federation ship shooting the hell out of Dominion?
Does that non-aggression pact still up? I thought it was just tossed by now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no,
that's how Bajoran. That's the reason why they didn't. The
Dominion doesn't attack. Yeah, the Dominion doesn't attack the.
Yeah,
the state.
but it felt to me like the writers have forgotten about that too, because even with Julian,
that's my point.
I don't think
the writers have forgotten about it.
But Julian,
she quits in a couple of weeks. They haven't forgot.
But Julian and Miles talk about how they're doing all this trouble to get the station ready to be attacked. And the station, when they're playing with their doll furniture and stuff, they're like, I spent 14 hours getting the 14 hours calibrating the war array, and he's been doing full rundown of all the emergency protocols.
I think that maybe the space station is different.
Because I guess the station might get attacked, but Bajor won't.
Right. Because it's
okay, but I thought the station is there to protect Bajor, so I don't know. I don't know. It felt to me like it's just up in the air.
I mean, it stands. Listen, they still have. They never. That's my point. Is that they never address the fact that you've got Bajoran military.
I think it's there as a strategic place in the wormhole now, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's the Kasidy Sisko stuff. There's the power stuff.
My point still stands. Is that the Dominion has a non-aggression pact, and that non-aggression pact was a big deal because that's what prevented.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I haven't heard anything of it lately, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That they've just completely forgot that that's a thing that exists in the war.
Yeah.
Like if we had a Bajoran colonel on the bridge of a Dominion ship firing at the Federation, we'd be like, what the fuck? And
Yeah, it feels almost like the thing that's preventing Bajor is just like there's bigger fights out there, right? I don't know. I mean,
it's the non-aggression pact.
I know it technically is, but
I'm not kidding. Like in a couple of weeks, Kira has to quit the military to join Federation.
Oh, okay.
So she has to So it's not it's still ongoing. They just goofed in this episode.
Okay.
By putting her on the ship.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I don't remember the part going forward. I forgot. Yeah, you're pointing out that it comes up a couple weeks later. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a couple weeks later doesn't matter. Like they just dropped it off. Even
yes,
it was a big deal for a long time.
That's what I'm
over
saying.
the multiple stories.
I remember that it was, but I'm just saying I don't remember it right now. I don't think about it at all.
What bothered me about it is
are we arguing about the point or arguing about whether you why you were wrong? You're fine. We're all fine.
Yeah.
The thing is that Nog came on and said, this is fucked. This is all fucked up. And Kira's like, you say this is fucked up every time we go into battle. I'm like, wait a minute. How often are you going into battle? You're a Bajoran. You're not supposed to be going out with these people.
Oh yeah.
So
they should have had her quit a long time ago.
Yeah, apparently.
Either quit a long time ago or just be back on the station doing paperwork, acting like the Bajorans are not in there.
And they don't want to do that because you don't want to take her all, you want to see Kira, your space friend, doing the missions with your space friends.
Well,
you don't want to be her like, nah, I'm sorry guys, can't go, red tape,
I mean, previously it felt like Sisko was running around doing all these missions on the Defiant, and somebody has to be there to be in charge of the fucking station, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That's the
that
thing,
was her
is that
job.
she was in charge. That was her job, to be in charge of the station whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know it's a big deal. And this episode, I mean, obviously they forgot, right? It's like, oh yeah.
I think they just forgot.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. We forgot about a big part of the show.
Yeah.
Actually, Daenerys kind of forgot about the.
She forgot about
Greyjoys.
the Iron Fleet.
Yeah, Iron Fleet. Yeah, actually, Irish Stephen Bear kind of forgot about
The non-aggression
Bajoran
pact. That was a
Yeah.
big deal for like 7 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's that, and then there's the Damar storyline that's still going in this, which is pretty good, right?
Oh yeah, it comes ahead in this one.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
him at his best, I think. I mean, like I think it's still humming
Yeah, this
along,
is where old Damar gets like cleaned up.
and they're smart too.
Well, wait a minute, real quick. My favorite thing about Damar in this whole thing is that several characters at his lowest tell him he looks like shit, and in this episode, Wayoon says he looks good, like he's looking better.
Yeah. Oh.
And to me, he look. I'm trying to not try to sound racist against Cardassians, but he looks exactly the same both times.
Well, sometimes if he has his hair like flopped over, but like no, he looks the same. I mean, I think Wayoon's kind of like, oh, you look half dressed. Oh, that's what it is. You're not carrying a bottle. It's like, okay,
I
he's
think
drunk.
that what they said you look like bad is that you look really drunk,
Yeah, but
and then so they're saying now you don't look drunk.
right.
But yeah, you're right. They should have. I don't know how you darken the circles under their eyes more,
Right.
but like
Right.
they need to do or make them look paler.
Or just make his teeth look black, like he's covered, like his teeth are covered
Covered in that-
the stuff.
yeah, that goo.
scissor.
Yeah, you can do something. God, you can do something.
His undershirt is untucked out of the back.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you make pit stains in those shirts? Can you get booze sweats? I don't know.
Yeah, there was one scene somewhere in one episode where his just hair's fucked up, and that's how you tell.
Well, that was whenever he woke him up.
That's when he's
what it
like,
was.
yeah.
When he was sleeping in his uniform.
right, because they don't know what fucking civvies look like unless it's a woman Cardassian.
It's kind of like sleeping in a hard shell.
Yeah, right.
Nothing like sleeping in it. Yeah.
Crab people, man. Yeah. Do we want to break this episode down?
I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh no, but I was gonna say with the Damar stuff, it was really smart to add the Bobby Moynihan character.
Oh yeah.
For him to talk to.
that guy 100% looked like Bobby Moynihan. I had the same thought too.
So, and it's there because we've never seen Damar be competent ever in the show, and they needed to show, because it's just kind of like, we're going to have to put our faith in Damar, and at the end, everybody just kind of looks dumb. Why are you going to trust this dumb fuck?
Right. Oh, yeah.
But to make him look like he had gotten this new leaf, he's like, no, we got to do it in secret. Sometimes justice must wear a hood, and all of this other stuff. And you're like, oh, he's got his shit together now. And giving him a Robin, a sidekick to talk to, really did it.
Yeah. I mean, he's the leader of the entire Cardassian Union.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point that he's a chump to the Dominion, and he's finally taken.
And he kind of chumped his way up. He was He was a nobody who worked on one of Gul Dukat's down period. When he's down.
Yeah.
During his bankruptcy periods, he met him and then fought his way. And as Dukat rose up, he rose up with Dukat. Mm-hmm. It's like he's not like he worked through the whole system to get to the leadership. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the Braun of Blackwater of Cardassia, who ended up sitting on the Iron Throne.
Right on So they didn't even have a time for a recap in their runtime on this episode. I guess they're milking every minute they have.
Mm-hmm. And this is the last one written in that group where they're all like writing independently and fucking each other's stories up severely.
Oh, really?
This is the end of the first wave of that.
Oh.
So
do they get their shit together in the next wave, or?
No, they do it the same way the next 4,
Okay.
I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, just they didn't have anything broke until they had to re-break the next 4 storylines at this point.
Yeah,
huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not the best way to work,
And
is
then
it?
the Shiveria fucks it up. I mean, it's the whole story over again. But
Okay.
we'll do that next week.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we want to just... Julian's all sad because he didn't expect him to come back, and then Morn won the betting pool for exactly what day they were going to come back. Morn, hey, how about that, Morn, huh? And then so they're all happy that they get Worf and Ezri back, but then, oh no, the Breen... I'll talk to you about how you ran off when you weren't supposed to, Ezri, but the Breen have attacked Earth. So we can see the little image of Starfleet of San Francisco all fucked up, matte paintings.
It's a little, it's like a Photoshop. It looked like a meme. It was like, someone made it. Yeah. So why, I know that they say that they destroy the Defiant at the end of this episode because they wanted to make the Breen look intense and something that they should fear. And then I was like, well, you could have just shown them attacking the fucking planet we all live on. That would have probably registered with the audience, too.
That would have done it.
So,
Yeah,
it was
you
a
coulda- you
weird
coulda
beef. Oh, Earth? Oh, I guess it's all fucked.
Right. If you wanted to look, what I learned in improv class is to escalate. You start with the thing. And
Yes.
you start destroying the Defiant, and you'd be like, "Oh shit!" But then at the end, you say, "Oh yeah, also we destroyed fucking San Francisco." I'm like, "Oh no."
Yes.
But no, they do. They're not gonna do it that way.
No.
We're gonna do it. Yeah. So it does feel like they wanted to oh my god, they blew up the Defiant, but it almost feels like
You did.
y'all didn't milk this for the most effect that you could have gotten out of it.
Yeah, the attacking the Earth. I mean, it was weird. It was a weird sort of,
Yeah.
oh, oops. I don't know. And everybody's kind of, yeah. Like, it's a big attack on Earth. That's like a big thing. I don't know.
Yeah, when the Changelings did that in that Homefront two-parter, it was like, it was a huge deal.
They just set off a little bomb.
Yeah. And then they took out the Golden Gate Bridge, man. I saw it. And with the little runabouts flying around. And yeah, and Sisko's like, I had a lot of friends in those buildings. So I guess they just took out the Starfleet campus and fucked off.
I don't. Yes.
And they took out most of the Breen forces that did that, but then Martok is even, they're like, oh, remember how we don't know anything about the Breen? And then Martok is like, well, they are pretty formidable warriors, and because, even the Klingons, we didn't ever have the balls to do that when we were trying to kill you. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that whole scene with Damar and Weyoun is pretty fun. It's rich with subtext and lots of... Everybody's working in opposite directions, and isn't that the next scene? But there's the scene where Damar is like where he's pointing out that the Breen were tough, the Breen are good fighters. That whole scene with Damar, and I like that. That was and Weyoun has this sort of energy to sort of convince him of that. It's good. I like that whole scene.
Let's talk about Weyoun a little bit, because I feel like he's been kind of Jeffrey Combs. These Weyoun scenes.
Oh my God, is he the glue? Is he the glue for this art?
I'm telling you what, he makes all these scenes are completely watchable whenever you see it. He plays it perfectly. Like I don't know. I really enjoy
variation of tone, rich. So everything is dripping with subtext, and he's doing a really good job.
Just by being such a colossal asshole, you really feel for Damar, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like you really hate he's doing a performance for Weyoun that the audience hates Weyoun as much as Damar does.
Yes. Right.
It really works.
Yeah. And they set up little things with the Bobby Moynihan scene where he's like,
doesn't seem right. All this plotting and secrecy. What are we, Romulans?
No, we're Cardassians.
What the Cardassians don't connive. Their whole thing is that they will stab each other in the back and connive behind the scenes. But whatever. What are we, Romulans?
That is true.
That was a little bit weird, but then. He's like, oh, and then he mentions Rondak 3. We need exact specifics of that location because something's going to happen there. And that's where and we don't know the exact important details of Rondak 3, but then later on you learn that's where the cloning facility is. And it makes it even more personal because Wei-Yun is like, oh, he went after Rondak 3 personally because he hates me so much.
Yeah, because I will be the last Wei-Yun.
Yeah.
But he's very, I mean, he's very efficient. I don't know. This is, yes, this is well handled. I don't know what scene we're in, but I'm sure it's well handled.
Yeah, I don't know where. Yeah, and then we talked about the Dukat stuff. Yeah, writing a note to the Vedic. Yeah.
When you're working hard to release the evil, you gotta hit the books.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a library.
You know the prophecies, all about the prophecies. That'll be the end of Bajor. Oh, I guess we know that now. I'm like, okay, I'm like, that's why they're evil. Yeah, we talked on that. And, then the Alamo, we touched on that too. And the Necronomicon is said to be...
Oh, they're doing the Alamo. They're getting more specific with the Alamo. They're really into the Alamo. Ira Stephen Bear really likes the Alamo storyline.
Oh, I bet he does, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Worf and Ezri are upstairs like, how could you want anyone who plays child games? He is a child. And
he's pretty funny about it. He plays with toys.
Yeah, right.
He gets excited playing with toys.
And I do think that they went from, and I know it's because you built this whole 4-episode storyline with it, but Worf being her catty girlfriend just ain't working for me, or like her hitch. But you should talk to him and have confidence and walk with your hand tied. You know, find moments to compliment him. Yeah, like it's very weird. This is not where Worf should be.
Right, yeah. He shouldn't be your wingman. Yeah, and she's like, oh, if you want to go play with them, like, oh, that is no way to defend a position without more men. It's like, well, if you want to go play with the doll furniture, it's like, no, I don't. But, as a guy that has all this D&D doll furniture, and he's like, it's not, whatever.
They talk about how hard he worked to make the model. Uh-huh. But I have 2 questions. First off, don't you have a job? But I know they said that I work for whatever. I'm just kind of
14 hours. Yeah.
Why are you? Okay, that's clever. But then my second one is like, don't you have replicators?
Yeah, that's not the same. And then later on, when they're on the Defiant and they're checking out, and Miles is pissed at Julian for losing Travis. And Nog even says, can't you just fucking make another one? And O'Brien says, why? So he can lose it again?
Yeah. So, that was a funny. I mean, I said that to my son before, too.
I said, yeah, he is a child, huh? Yeah, Damar got his shit together. Kost Amojen, Solbor, Great Awakening. Yeah, and then marriage changes everything, which Quark talking to... Odo, and where they're having the fight.
Who?
In the security room. Sisko and Kasidy.
Who's Quark talking to?
Sisko and Kasidy are having a...
I was doing a thing where I said who when you said Odo.
Huh?
Because
he made a joke. He was like, who?
Oh.
I said who as if said Odo.
Oh, okay. I thought you didn't hear me. No. Oh. You just don't know who that is. That's understandable. He's barely been in this.
The story about his people versus his 2 families fighting, and he's not anywhere to be seen. I mean,
I thought it was more about like, well, what will happen when Kira and I get married?
Oh yeah, they're having to set up the fucking Shakespeare ending where everybody gets hooked up before the ending, so that there's more tragedies.
Yeah, and then marriage changes everything. Odo, you don't understand. It's like, what the fuck do you know, Quark? But, I mean, Quark doesn't know anything. That's his whole shtick, I guess. I don't know. It's not the best. Not the best story to be exploring at the end of the show. But the Chintaka system is where the last little stronghold that the Dominion has, or the only territory in Dominion space that the Federation has is the Chintaka system. And while the Breen and the Founders and the Dominion are going to go crush the Federation, the Chintaka system, that's when Damar is planning his stuff in Rondak 3 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Sisko gets called out of his fight because he's got to go to the Chintaka system I guess.
He gets pulled out of one ward into another one.
Yeah. Oh, it's after he's making up because he's bought her flowers, and that makes up. Because he's like, oh, sorry, baby, I put you back on the rosters. And she's like, oh, that's nice. I forgive you flowers, and I also got you a necklace because you gotta buy gifts for women or something. I don't know.
It's trying to show. They're trying to ground him. They're working on these two relationships so hard, and I just don't know why. I mean, I don't know, but yeah. It's just to make them seem that you get more invested. I think because they're going to try and retch pathos out of the end game. Yeah, it's
right.
It's Tony Stark getting a daughter. Yes, but it is sort of like. I mean, so I get it on that level.
Yeah.
It is a lot of watching.
Right, and then. Sleepy Kai, Solbor has to sneak in to steal her books away, and then Damar is like, "Don't take her books." Our Dukat is, and then jeez, man, what are we doing here?
I'm returning these books to the archives.
And then
The plotline was so weird. He sneaked. She don't need these anymore. Give her the books. No, she don't need the books.
I believe Her Eminence has finished.
He slapped him.
She fell asleep reading these books. No, give them back to her.
How dare you use that tone with me?
Fighting about books was pretty dumb. But, I mean, we could wrap up the Solbor stuff in about 2 minutes so we can unpack it. Basically, later he comes back and they have that big confrontation where somehow Solbor got a DNA sample. And and they had a real Scooby-Doo moment where he unmasks Dukat, and Kai Wynn ends up killing him, and the blood uncovers the books and whatnot. But this, the emotional arc for Kai Wynn from figuring out that she's been going to the bone zone with Gold Dukat to embracing the pod race or whatever was a pretty short distance, wasn't it? Or was she?
I think it was the trauma of killing the guy, and she's like, "Oh my God, no!" And then she kills him because he's gonna rat her out to being a Satanist or whatever. And then, then once the book catches fire and they glue the pages into it, he's like, "See, your faith has been rewarded. The unlike the prophets, the Pra race actually like you now." And she's like, "What? Okay, great."
Where did that end? Where did that end for the episode? Because I don't quite remember. Basically,
we're gonna keep hitting the books.
That was it, right?
That was it for that plot line, pretty much. Yeah.
But that's the end of our dear old friend Solbor, though.
Oh yeah.
Solbor might be the MVP of the season.
I think so. I think that
pour out some Kanar for Solbor. Huh?
Yeah, no, I would watch a Solbor spinoff.
I did not find Solbor as engaging as y'all did, I guess.
I think that you will whenever Michael Chabon runs the Solbor prequel.
Yes,
for CBS All Access, and you're forced to do a podcast about Solbor's middle school years.
That's Solbor.
That's
Solbor at summer camp.
Yeah. Solbor is so boring, y'all. No.
He was I just thought that the whole thing was the most silly thing.
It's pretty silly, yeah.
It just seemed all very silly, and
no, it was like a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yes, it was. And then he gets stabbed. And he makes the face.
The stabbing scene was just like, he turns around and he walks away so jerkily, and then the cut, the stabbing him is so
horribly blocked.
Weird and awkward. It was like
horribly blocked and horribly shot.
Actually, when I was watching it, it happened. I just went, nailed it.
Yeah, all right, just moving on. Come on, we gotta wrap this shit up. We got a lot of shit to shoot.
We'll fix it in post. Let's go. And then you do get but Smug Dukat is pretty fun. I like that. It's Louise Fletcher, I think. I don't know if she feels like she can act this material, but I feel like she's a little shrill, and a little.
I mean, it's just the writing is all mwah ha 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 hand wringing, and the music swells all like melodramatically for everything.
When she's stressed out that she has, just leave me alone. I've got work to do. Like she really, that's an Academy Award winning actress that's just forced to say, her character is coming from a place of just like high stress because she's got to find evil writings. I don't know.
Yeah, no, when I was watching this, I was thinking about actually Shameless, and like, man, she's so much better in Shameless. But,
she's the I think that it's probably the struggle with what she's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
she's given nothing here to work with.
She's given
really.
nothing. She's not given a whole lot to work with.
Have you guys ever watched the Helen Slater Supergirl movie?
No, I haven't.
It's one of the all-time
80s?
worst.
Maybe when I was a kid, I saw it.
Yeah, but not as an adult where you can appreciate horrible camp and just horrible. Faye Dunaway is the villain in that, and this is back in her. This is a couple of years off of doing Network, and she's just the worst. it's Mommy Dearest, but worse than that. And she's just so horribly pitched, and it's the same performance. And I think that it's probably. If I want to go back to an old hobby horse, I think it's because they don't know how to write women experiencing things. Where I think that they write better lines for Dukat because they know how a man looks powerful or devious, but there's not really, I don't think they have a language for women being evil. Because I was thinking of in no way is she really in control of the story. All that she's just got sort of dumb ambition, and Dukat is the one that's running the real sort of scam. And so even in the final end game, she's weakened by her villainy, and that's what's not working for me.
The only reason why she's around is because she's got that good library card.
I need her for the library.
Right.
You don't understand.
Only the Kai can open the Kost Amojen for reasons.
I do like that at one point Dukat's confidence is like, just get out of the way. I gotta look at this book. I'll do it. It's like me, it's like when I try to walk my dad through how to do something on his phone. Like he was trying to set up a PayPal. Then and then you hit that square, and then you just give it here. Give it here.
The most control she has of the whole thing is where he says, shit, the book is a fake. It's fucked up. And she's like, nope, this is the right book. We just have to find the words in it. And it's like, all right, that's not great.
Solbor gave you the wrong book. Solbor knows how to check out a book.
He's faithfully served me for 15 years.
Right. Good
old Solbor.
But then he's dead, and they've got the book, and then we get back to the good plot line, which is the Dominion War. The Chintaka system, where they're like, all right, we got to take the Defiant out, and they're just rattling off a bunch of gearing up technobabble. We got the Nadion emitters and dilithium matrix set up, and antimatter ejector ports are good to go, sir, and autonomous guidance system check, and blah blah. And then they go out there, and it's like the big kind of epic space battle, which the effects are dated and stuff, but it felt like an actual fleet going to battle against another fleet in a way that I never really got to see in, say, any of Star Trek Discovery when they were at war with the Klingons.
Oh, yeah.
Even when so they're going up against the Brain, and the Brain have a special super weapon, I guess, that depletes the power drains and leaves them helpless. And Kira gets hurt, and her real life husband at the time has to do medicine and carry her out when the toxic air and the blade of armor fail, and they get shot up. And they're trying to milk this for a big moment when they're losing the Defiant, the ship that they got, and they have Sisko kind of stand there and look and say, "Oh, it was a good ship," and and they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay," and then they leave and. It should be a big deal that the Defiant gets blowed up. And I guess it is, but it just doesn't land, really, right?
Well, it doesn't land because what year did Austin Powers came out when we were in high school, right?
Yes, 1996.
1996. Okay.
Yeah, 96 or 97.
So the scene you imagine 3 years later watching the scene where Sex Grandma says, "Let the pods go. I want them to spread their fear." And I was thinking of what Scott Evil. Like, no, we can get a gun and shoot them right now.
Right.
No.
Right. I mean, even Wei Yun says they're so vulnerable out there, and she's like, no. And like, okay, I get that you want people to go home to tell the story, but you know what would make that story really scary? It's like blow up all but one of them.
Do you know what they're going to go home and tell people? The same shit. You just destroyed San Francisco. You don't need to gild the lily here. They already scared. Like, what the fuck? You just blew up a fleet. Shoot them too. It literally.
Like, I know.
Oh God, I hate that shit. I hate that shit from writers. It's that they wrote themselves into an inescapable thing, and then basically the villain, the adversary, has to basically have a brain aneurysm.
Oh, no. That's my problem with this whole thing. Other than it seems like everything is going to fall apart due to unforced errors.
Yes.
That's the whole problem with we like the Leggett DeMar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But really, they're only losing the war because they were mean to the Cardassia.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're not winning because the good guys are good at their job. They're winning because of their own. They're losing because of their own whatever.
And that's fine for but you have to make them look formidable. But then you give them this fucking brain fart,
right? Like there's a little bit of hubris in their discounting DeMar that I think is good. But then like you could easily I know that our heroes have plot armor that means that Sisko's not gonna die. In our, but
you have to be a little less obvious about it.
Yeah, you could have her say shoot out 3, leave half a dozen of them, and kill the rest, and then she looks like a evil badass, and our guys just got away by chance or something, and that's something. But then it's like her saying no, just let them all go is like it makes you seem less vicious,
Yeah, they are. That they do lean on these cheats of unforced errors, and that is a thing that.
Well, that's the whole. That's how the Federation. The Federation is going to win the whole thing because of an unforced error.
Yeah,
not because the Federation was good at problem solving, or because they worked harder, or the whole thing's getting.
And that stuff is hard to. I mean, I guess that's hard. You're supposed to say that stuff's hard to write. Because
you don't want everybody to be perfect at what they do. People make mistakes, but then at the same time, it's weird.
But you want to. You what you appreciate in your heroes is first and foremost competency. That's where the Jon Snow storyline collapsed in Game of Thrones, when the competency didn't rate towards the show's view of his and so that you want to like Sisko and our space friends because they're good at solving the problems, not that they're good at not that they escape consequences of the
right.
You want the people to earn what they get,
right? Well,
generally,
and to an extent, the Dominion does earn that they have this super weapon that took out all their ships, and holy shit, they didn't stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But
they got away because
because that's what I was saying. If she had just said
kill them,
shoot some of them, but a few of them leave to tell the story, that's like a little bit more than just let them all go.
Yeah, you would have to write a mechanic that required your heroes to actually survive through wit, guile, and cunning.
Yeah.
And not through dumbness. Let them go.
Dumb luck, yeah.
I am there beneath my concern.
She's like, Wei Yun, what's the most powerful thing in all the galaxy? Stories. So that's basically what she tells.
Who has a better story than this character?
And who has a better story than those in the escape pod? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's basically it. Yep.
All right.
What's
next?
Well, and then we had the blood and fire. The thing goes up, and she's like, "That's impossible." To Dukat, we already talked about that. And then the escape pods get back to the station, and then Hitchcock is telling Scully, "Oh, we'll get you another ship, I promise." Or sorry, Hitchcock. Admiral Ross sounds like Hitchcock from Brooklyn Nine-Nine to me, and I can't.
No,
anyway.
totally.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we'll get you another ship, I promise, Scully. And then we're like, wait a minute, look at the news. And then we get Damar giving his big #resist speech. I mean, he does. Yes. He literally says resist over and over again. And then to me, when they're all looking at the. This is kind of a nerd corner or production note. When they're all in ops looking at the screen of Damar giving the resist speech, it just dawned on me how little time they actually show off ops. Everything is all these close-up shots, and they don't ever pull back to show you what ops is.
Mm-hmm. Well, they haven't really shown ops.
Are you talking about like in the entire series?
In the whole entire series, yeah.
I completely agree. That's one of my major beefs with the show.
Yeah.
Is that you don't have a sense of it being a place where these people like work.
Yes.
Yeah. Like when they were all looking at the screen, it was like, oh yeah, like TNG did this all the time.
That's because not too many stories involve them actually working together as a team.
Yeah. That's a flaw.
There's so few stories that
right.
You know, the operations of the ship isn't the day-to-day operation of the ship. I have no idea what that really looks like.
Yeah, they did more of those honestly in the first few seasons that were bad episodes.
They did.
Kind of. Yeah.
Because they were trying to do Star Trek stuff, and then later they tried to figure out we're going to do this Star Trek differently, and they did different stories that a lot of time we didn't like very much.
I bet we've spent over the last 3 seasons. I bet we've seen more of Terok or the other Impact Nor than we have of the ops room.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's just that's a random ass place that I picked.
Right.
That we probably spent more than we did that we have in the ops room.
Yeah.
Not including Sisko's office. There's a lot of like scenes in Sisko's office.
But everything's these close up kind of like not very interesting angles of just like straight on shots of the people talking and stuff like. And there's a one shot like, oh. That almost makes ops look interesting, the way that they frame this shot with the Damar on screen at the top and everybody looking up at it. It's like, oh yeah, this could be a visually interesting thing. Shots that they'd spent millions of dollars on this set 7 years ago. And yeah.
I mean, like you think, I'm not even that big of a Star Trek fan, and I could probably draw from memory both bridges of the Enterprise.
Right.
From just memory, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is where the ready room is. This is an elevator. That's another elevator. That's who knows where that is, you know. But then these are where the stations are, and this is what they do. I can do that, and I can do that on both of those shows.
Yeah,
and I can't do that. I can't do that for ops. I don't know shit about ops.
I mean, I can try to, but it's unclear. Like, yeah, it's weird that they didn't do that, and I hadn't realizing that at the end of this. You know.
And it's not like, it did seem like, anecdotally, it does seem like TNG spent more time on their bridge than the original series spent on their bridge.
Uh-huh.
But you don't have to do it a lot.
Right.
To be memorable, you know?
Yeah.
But it is a way to get the characters to talk to each other, which is something this show struggles with.
Yeah, well, because there's not a way that they ever got a shot where they ever showed all the bridge at once. You could show the station... the science station, or you can show the middle little station, or you see where the turbo lift is by Sisko's office, and it never pulls back to show you everything really answering one. There's a little pit where O'Brien does stuff every now and then.
Yeah. I mean, and you can do that. Like, I can draw the office, the Dunder Mifflin office from memory, and they don't do wide shots. So it's not...
It's done a lousy job of giving you a sense of place, and it's because the stories never
involve it or
employed it.
Yeah. But
what were we talking about before we were talking about ops? We were talking about the end of this episode.
Yeah, the Damar's #resist speech where "Rise Up, Cardassians" is actually pretty good. I thought, you know.
Yeah, sure.
With the 1, 3rd, and 9th Order are all attacking outpost on Round Deck 3 and
resist. Resist today. Resist tomorrow. Resist till the last Dominion soldier has been driven from our soil.
We're gonna fight, and they destroyed and there's no more. Perhaps he'll be the last Wayun. And Admiral Ham Sandwich is like, get me verification that this, intel is real. And they're like, oh, we got a listening post confirmed. And they're like, holy shit, this bought us some more time because they just suffered a big defeat. They lost the Defiant and this whole fleet, and they got this evil energy weapon that they don't know how to beat. It's going to come up next episode, pretty sure. And then that's how they end. Like, well, oh my goodness, Legate Damar may be the key to saving the Alpha Quadrant. And that's, the big route where it ends. But
and Mike Starr, Admiral Ross says that, right? They may be the key to winning the whole Alpha Quadrant.
If only it were Mike Starr.
The Alpha Quadrant, you gotta get it. You gotta get it under control. And I think the Cardassians, I like what they're doing. So Kasidy, I guess Kasidy went on the ship, right?
Oh yeah, she went off on her supply run, I guess,
or whatever her job is. I mean, I'm sure she knows she's.
Yeah,
she delivers to like Bajoran Walmarts, I think.
Right. Yeah. Basically. But
that's it, though, right?
That's it. Yeah.
All right.
We've got our our two villains are now both into butt stuff, and I don't know what that ties into the Dominion, but we'll find out.
And Damar is not going to take it anymore.
Yes, he's not. He's
not gonna take it anymore.
Yes, queen. Yeah.
What do you guys think the good people of IMDb think of this?
It was an 8 last time. This is better.
Last week was an 8.
8.1.
First of all, wait a minute. This is better? This was a lot of book talk. And
yeah, but
this was better than last week.
To release the evil.
Yeah, well, because Damar having his the Cardassian
I'll give you that.
revolution starts here. So
okay, I was just like,
if we're guessing
I didn't
the
know
number,
after the entire conversation, I didn't know we landed on this was better. I didn't know we landed
I'm not
there.
sure if we did or not. I think I am. But I'm not.
Okay. All right. I'm just wondering.
Even all the book stuff aside, yeah.
You plays with toys. I'm gonna. What did you say? 8.1.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go 7.8. I'm going with chaos here.
I did not. This is the first time I think since we've been doing the IMDb where I said something after I wasn't trying to sway anybody's.
No.
With, comparing it last week.
No, I wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, this is an 8.5.
Oh,
people think this is markedly better.
Okay, I was.
I mean, I don't.
I was playing Price is Right rules, just going up 1, I think. But I was like, yeah, I didn't want to go over, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I think that so each one of these is more than the one before it. I think that
people are really feeling it. How it gets ratcheted up.
I think that people are really feeling it. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Wade, do you want to call us out or?
Oh, yeah. Let us know what you think about the book stuff. I guess I don't know.
Brain facts.
Well, book stuff. We go listen to our
Call
other
us with
podcasts.
your brain. We need brain facts.
Brain facts. Yeah. Oh, brain facts. Like they have those refrigeration suits. We thought it was because our homeworld must be so cold. Turns out it's not. It's a regular, nice little climate there. That's mysterious. That's something Wayne points out in this. It's like, oh yeah, like yeah.
If only Damar's best friend had ever field stripped a Breen of his uniform.
All right.
Yeah, that was a really how Jeffrey Combs delivered all that. All of his choices and that was pretty great.
Yeah,
and he goes, "We'll all win. The Cardassians, the Founders, the Vorta." And he goes in the Brain, and he goes, "And the Brain." I just loved it.
Yeah.
We're just one big happy family, aren't we?
I love it so much when we agree.
I like it so much better when we agree.
Yeah, it's great. Anyways, call us to let us know how great Jeffrey Combs is. That's the kind of content I want to hear from y'all. 917-408-3898.
Send Brain facts.
And Brain facts. If you want to hear from us on stuff other than about how Jeffrey Combs is, check out us on kickersofels.com and Kickers Podcast on Twitter, or especially patreon.com/kickersofels for all that extra content and get on the Discord and whatnot. And, review us and do all the other stuff that other podcasts ask you to do for us. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening to another episode of The Rules of Acquisition. We hope you join us next week as we go through another episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. For Wade, James, and myself, it's Rita Beam out.
This joke is getting pretty old now, isn't it? Okay, I'll knock it off next time. Check out the Patreon or something, they talked about Bob Dylan some recently. Those are the words Wade is putting in my digital mouth. Adios.